We're talking about a popular European game just across the pond to the US, Mille Fiori. And I know it looks like a Disney princess game, but it's not. And it may just be a new favorite. This week on Short Rest Studios. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Short Rest Studios. Like I said, this week we're talking about Mille Fiori. And I had a chance to play this game a couple of weeks ago, sitting on a demo at Madness Games and Comics in Plano, Texas. If you're ever in the area, man, I really want to encourage you to check out Madness. It's a great store, great people. But I went, sat in on this demo, had a great time getting to know some folks and getting to check out this game. I picked up a copy and brought it home, and my family and I have played through it a few times. And I want to give you my insights, my recommendations on Mille Fiori. So the term Mille Fiori means 1,000 flowers, and it's you may be familiar with it. It's a form of glass making, very decorative glass making, and Venetian glassmakers in the Middle Ages are the ones usually associated with it, and that's kind of the conceit of this game. You're a Venetian glassmaker in the Middle Ages. You're getting your resources. You're selling your product. You're shipping it. And so there's that whole building of resources kind of facet to this game, but really and truly, it's just about scoring as many points as you can. That's the whole point. So let's take a look at a quick unboxing of the game. So you take off the lid, and there's the instruction manual. Oh, wait, no. There are 4, count them, 4 instruction manuals. But not to worry. They're just all translations of the same set of instructions. Not that bad. Not that bad. So next, we see here's the board. And I actually really love this design touch of the bottom of the board. It's just got this nice pattern. And it's one of those things that makes you feel good about taking something out of the package. And as we remove the board and set that up, now we've got Ziploc bags full of tiles. And I have opened this game already. So what I did was I put all the colors together in individual Ziplocs, but the way it came was each color of tile was in a separate Ziploc, all the ships were in a separate Ziploc, and the tokens were in a separate Ziploc. And then of course the cards were wrapped in shrink, but the cards here I've just put into another Ziploc bag. So you've got these tiny little cards and you've got all your tiles, and that's it. That's all the pieces. But you'll notice that those tiles, all of the pieces are made, the tiles, the ships, the tokens are all made of this translucent colored plastic that gives the impression of colored glass. And they even make a sound that actually is one of the enjoyable parts of the game for me. They make this sort of chinking sound when you're holding them in your hand. But so there's a little bit of look at an unboxing. Now let's talk about how the game is played. Okay, so this is it's a resource building game, but it's also a deck drafting game. So essentially, what you do is every player gets 5 cards, and then you all choose which card you're going to play. Not on your turn. Everybody chooses at one time. You place it face down. You pass the deck on to the next person. And then on your turn, you play your card. And the way you play your card is there's an action defined on that card, and you just take that action. And then that goes around until you're down to 1 card, and then everybody discards their final card into the bonus pile. So yes, there are bonus cards that you can get. There are certain things achievements you get, different things like that give you bonus cards. So it's like having a double turn, and sometimes you can chain those suckers together and have a whole bunch of turns in a row. And that's one of the most fun parts of the game, but we'll get to that. So that's how it works. And then that's a round. And then you just keep playing. You start a new round. The first player changes each round, so it's not always the same person going first. But you just keep doing it until somebody uses all of their tiles or the draw pile is gone. So essentially, Mille Fiori consists of 5 different mini games. There's the workshops, where you place tiles on resources, and when you have tiles that are connected, you get more points. So if the more tiles you have placed next to each other, the more points you get. You place one tile by itself, you get 1 point. You place multiple tiles, you place a tile next to other tiles of yours, you get more points. And you get bonus actions based on different things and whatever. So that's kind of how the workshops work. There's always, in all of these, there's always a way to sort of chain things together and get more points. Next is the residences. This is just a big long chain of spots that you can play your tiles on, and you just get points. But you play on one and you get that number of points, but if you play on the next one right next to it, then you get those points and the previous points again. So if you can build a really long chain in the residences, you can get a lot of points every time. So, it behooves you, if you're playing somebody that's doing that, to block them once in a while so they can't get so many points. And you'll notice too in this section, as with all the sections, that if you get so many of a certain thing, depending on what section you're playing in, like in the residences, you can get, if you're the first person to get 4 different numbers, then you get 20 extra points. And there are things like that in every mini game in Mille Fiori. So third, we have what they call the Townspeople. And essentially, you've got upper class and lower class. There are actually 2 sections. It's like upper class and tradespeople. And so there are 2 sections of this, but they both operate pretty much the same way. So if you play one of those cards, you can play on any space. You can play a tile on any space in that particular townspeople section, right? It has to be in the right section, but it doesn't have to be on the symbol that matches your card, and you get whatever points it says you get, right? But if you play on the symbol that matches your card, then you get double points. And you can build pyramids here and get bonus actions and more points and all of that kind of thing. So that's workshops, residences, townspeople, and then we have the trade section. These are basically rows and columns of different commodities, and you can play tiles on those and get points for those. And once you get all of the commodities in one row, then that actually affects the next section, which we'll get to in just a second. But if you, let's say you play in a column and somebody has already played on another spot in that column. So basically you've both played on the same commodity in different spaces, then you get more points and they get points too. So the next one, the last one, is the harbor. So this is where you have your ships, right? And in the harbor, there's a couple of things you can do here. You can move your ship, and when you land on a spot with your ship, you get the points that it says, or you get to take a bonus action depending on what is in that space when you land on it. But the other thing is you've got those commodities over there, and you've got these ship spaces where you play tiles and you build a fleet, essentially. And once you've built a fleet, once you've filled in 3 of those tiles, and they don't all have to be the same player, then that fleet goes out and you get more points for all of those, however many commodities in that row have been filled. So there is a level of complexity to this game, but it really, once you get into it and play a couple of turns, it's pretty straightforward. It makes a lot of sense because the cards explain pretty much everything to you. Everything it's laid out really well. It makes a lot of sense. So there is a level of complexity, but I think this would be a good gateway game. So let's talk about what I love about this game. I love the look of this game. I don't love the box art so much. I mean, if I saw that box on a shelf, it's not the kind of game that would appeal to me based on the box art, right? I probably wouldn't look at it twice. But what happened was I saw that there was a demo at Madness, and so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to that. I don't know about this game, don't know anything about it. I'm just going to go, I'll meet some people, I'll get to try out a new game. So I did, and I enjoyed it. I think it's a really good game. But I don't like the box art, but I like the way the game looks as you play it. I love the translucent colored plastic tiles. and that look and feel of glass. I love the way the board is laid out. I'm not really a huge fan of the artwork on the board. I mean, it's fine, but I like the way it's laid out. It makes sense. It's pretty easy, even though you have all of these different things going on. It's pretty easy to tell what's what. So that's one of the things I love. Another thing I love is the bonus cards. So you begin the game with a pile of bonus cards off to the side, and so if you do particular things, you get to draw a bonus card, so you get a double turn. And like I said, you can chain those together and just get boatloads of points. So I do like that, and because there are times, when you just keep doing it. Bonus cards, and I like the big points. I mean, that's what makes this game fun, is that you can just be eking away, 1 or 2 points here and there, and then all of a sudden you get 50, and it's those kind of games are just fun. There's a great deal of enjoyment in something like that. And the other thing that I love about this game is, I kind of alluded to this earlier, it is simpler than it first appears. There is a level of complexity to it, but it is, once you get into the play, it's really not that complicated. The cards tell you what to do. You just have to be able to think a little bit strategically. And there are times, another thing too is, like, there are times when you score points, but then you're also giving other people points. And sometimes that can benefit you as well as them. And, there's a lot going on here. But what's not so good? The only thing I could really think of is that in the townspeople sections, sometimes that double points thing throws me off, because it's so different from the way other aspects of the game work, that I forget. You get into a mode where you think, I have to play this card on the matching symbol, but you don't, right? But because of the way you're playing everything else on the board, it's hard to remember that. And so then what happens is you keep playing on the matching symbol, and you don't double your points. You forget about it. Just pay attention to the cards. You got to pay more attention to the cards. That's really the only thing that I can think of that I just don't like about it at this point. And that's, if you have a better memory than me, you might be okay with that. So all in all, I love this game. I think it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. It's got a neat look. It feels like the tactile experience of playing it is really pleasant, right? And it's a great family game. Like, there's a little bit of complexity to it. My 11-year-old daughter played with us, and she did great. And she really enjoyed the game. So I would highly recommend, if you have not, to check out Mille Fiori. And just so you know, there's already in Europe an expansion for it. It's not available in the US yet, but I expect it probably will be if it does well here. And I hope it does, because this is a really enjoyable game, and I don't want to have to buy the game in German, because I can't read German at all. But thank you again for spending some time with me on Short Rest Studios, for talking about a new game. And please take a minute and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. It would really mean a lot to me. You can hit that battle axe right down there. Hit that battle axe and subscribe to the channel. And you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And please get out there, play some games, have some fun, and leave me some comments. Let me know what kind of games you're playing, what kind of games you'd like me to review. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Short Rest Studios.